Sure, you all can relate when you see someone who you haven't seen for a while. They may be in your family, they may be just someone in your life, friends, and they treat you like the old you. They treat you like you used to be and not who you are now and not who you've built now. You could have made an amazing amount of progress in that time, but they still treat you like the old you. And it can affect you subconsciously, and you feel a little bit down, you feel a little bit sad, you're a bit like, why am I around these people if they're treating me like that when I made all this progress, but they're treating me like the old me? And I want to make this video for you lot to understand when this happens and what you should do truly when this happens, because I've had it a lot in my life where I can make an amazing amount of progress in a certain area, where I get better in a certain area, and yet you get around certain people, it's normally your family, and this is not disrespectful towards them, it's just how they treat you. Of course you love them and all that stuff, but you get treated in a way, especially when they're a lot older than you. They treat you in a old way, like they used to treat you, and it can kind of hurt you on a deeper level. And I used to have that with old friends as well. They treat me like I used to be years ago instead of who I am now and who I've built now. And other people would treat me way better than they would treat me, and it makes you feel like, why am I around these people? So should you cut these people off? The answer is more than likely just dedicate less time towards them. That's going to be the answer in this video. I'm not going to fucking hold it off for ages. I'm not going to be longing it off and trying to make you watch for ages. The answer would be dedicate less time to them people, because it affects you subconsciously on a negative level deeply. It really does. When it's like that, it affects you very deeply on that subconscious level where you're thinking, shit, I've done all this work, I've put myself through all this just to feel like a certain way. For example, there's people who I can be around and I feel absolute shit when I'm around them. I feel terrible. I don't feel good. I feel like, why am I around these people? What was the reasoning between me being around these people? Why did I even go around these people? I've done it for them. I literally went towards and done something for them. Let's say I went out for their birthday, or let's say I went out for a certain thing. Let's say this person wanted me out and they invited me out. I went out for them. Not for me. I didn't even really want to go on that much of a level. It's just like, yeah, I might enjoy it, but I'll go out for you. And then you feel terrible after. And that's a terrible place to be in. And this is what I've understood as I got older is you don't necessarily want to cut these people out. Let's say, for example, if it's your family especially. You don't want to cut them people out because they've been there for you and they've done a lot for you, and there's a lot of amazing things that they've done for you. But if you feel hella shit when you're around them, if you feel terrible, if you feel like you're rubbish when you're around these people, you've kind of got to dedicate less time towards them. Because here's the thing, if you hang around that for too long, it's going to affect your subconscious. You're going to feel terrible and it can derail you. And this is what I've had. It's derailed me from where I wanted to be, the person I wanted to be, the goals I wanted to strive towards, my momentum. Sometimes it's halted my momentum being around that, where this is not me putting the blame on that just specifically, but you start viewing yourself a bit terrible and not as good and not as amazing. And that momentum that you're building where you're like, oh yeah, this is going somewhere. I'm working towards this. It's going well. This thing's going well. This thing's going well. You'll be around a certain group of people for, let's say, 5, 6 hours, and you might have to see them again, and you just feel drained. You just feel terrible. You feel like, oh, they said that thing. They said that thing that was disrespectful. They said that thing that was patronizing. They said that thing that just completely discredited me on that level. And you just feel like, what the fuck was the point of me being around that? The answer is going to be in this video is literally dedicate less time to them. Dedicate less time to these people, because it isn't going to truly serve you if you dedicate too much time towards them. Granted, if you've got love for them and respect for them and all that stuff, of course, you've kind of got to keep that relationship. You've got to keep that relationship. Let's be real. Families and stuff, you've got to keep that relationship. But let's say it's old friends, or let's say it's a friend group. If it's a friend group, cut them off. Simply. If it's a friend group, cut them off. Because they do not have your best interest if they're like that. If they make you feel worse, if they make you feel terrible, if they don't praise you when you're doing well, or if they don't encourage you when you're doing well, what's the point in having them in your life? And this is not just lick somebody's ass and like praise them all the time and all that, because there'll be times where you're doing shit and you're doing terrible and you want them to be honest with you. But if they're making you feel worse and making you feel terrible, fuck them out of your life, man. Kick them out. Say, in a bit, mate. I'll see you later on. That's what you have to do. And this is what I've done in the past. I would be around certain people and it just made me feel more terrible with myself and hurt myself more and not like myself more. which is a terrible thing. And especially with all friends, I used to have that where it would absolutely make me feel worse and make me feel terrible. And you got to kick them out of your life. That's going to be a true message in this video. Dedicate less time towards them people. Let's say, for example, if they're in your family, just spend less time around them. Just dedicate your time better, allocate your time better. Of course, spend time with them because they're your blood, they're your relations. But if it's friends that you don't actually need in your life, and there's not a element of importance of really having them in your life, just you know them for a bit, kick them out of your life. Leave them in the past. And that's going to be a true message in this video.